Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video we are going to be making this cute little chick. He is what I consider a no-sew body pattern, which means we're going to start by making the little wings, and then we're going to make the legs. Then we'll move on to the top of the head, work our way down, attach the wings, work on the body, add the eyes, add the legs, stuff and clothes. And then we will have to sew on the beak, any little bits of embroidering that we do, and if you want to add a little tuft of hair. For this video, I will be using a number 4 medium weight yarn, a 4.25 millimeter hook, and 14 millimeter safety eyes. This is a crochet along, so I will be doing every stitch with you. And I am also providing a drop down at the top of the screen for the first 30 seconds of every row for you to follow along with. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and click that bell. Not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified every time I load a new video, as well as any likes, shares, and comments are always appreciated. Okay, grab your yarn and let's get started. Okay, we're going to start with the wings. So choose whatever color your base color is going to be, and you can begin any way you prefer as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. I like to make a knot with a loop on the end. So what I do is I fold my yarn in half. I grab it up at the top, and I'm going to wrap it around my finger, and I'm going to bring it down, around, and through to make a knot. And then I just pinch the top of that loop, and I slide that knot up for whatever size of a loop I want to start with. And I usually just make mine a little bit bigger than my hook, so it'll fit in there nice. And leaving the tail down and holding the yarn in my working hand, I just grab the bottom of that loop with my thumb and finger. I grab my yarn, pull up, and then I chain 1. And remember, this does not count as a stitch. That's just attaching our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, going over top of the tail, we're going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then if you have a hole at the end, you're just going to grab your tail, give it a nice pull, and close that up. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 9. So 1 single crochet for 1, 1 increase for 2 and 3. And repeat that around. So 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, and our last increase, 8 and 9. And make sure it's kind of curving so it's pointing kind of towards you, or you're going to end up having your wing inside out. Row 3, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 12. So single crochet for 1, single crochet for 2, and an increase for 3 and 4. And repeat that around. So 5, whoops. So that was 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12. Row 4, we are just going to do 12 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Row 5, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 15. 1, 2, 3, increase, 4 and 5. Repeat that again, 6, 7, 8, increase, 9 and 10. And one more time, 11, 12, 13, and our last increase, 14 and 15. Row 6, we are just going to do 15 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Row 7, 15 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Row 8, 15 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Row 9, 15 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Row 10, 15 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Row 11, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that around for a total of 12. So 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4, and repeat that around. 5, 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, and our last decrease for 12. Row 12, we are going to do 12 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Row 13, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that around for a total of 9. So 1, 2, decrease for 3, 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, 8, and our last decrease, 9. All right, we can take our stitch marker out. We're going to close the top now. What you're going to do is you're going to go in the very next stitch, and then you're going to come over and go in the last stitch. So it's going to look like this, and make sure you're going through both of sides of that V, so you're under both of the stitches, and we're going to do 4 single crochets across. So 1 through the front and the back of the next stitch, 2, front and the back, 3, and then you're just going to catch this little piece on the end for 4. And then we're going to tie that off. And even though we're not sewing these on, we're going to leave a tail because I do something at the end to help secure the wings. Okay, so if you've just finished your first wing, I'm going to be putting a screenshot over in the next frame with a timestamp so you can go back and do your second wing. And if you have finished your second wing, just keep on watching and we'll continue on to the next part. All right, now we're going to do the leg. So grab whatever color you want for the leg. And again, you can begin any way you prefer. I'll be doing the knot with the loop on the end as if I was making a chain. Insert my hook, grab my yarn, chain 1, and remember that does not count as a stitch. That just attaches our yarn to our loop, and for row 1 we're going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then remember, pull that tail if you need to close up that hole. All right, grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, we are going to do 6 increases, so that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 12. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, whoops, 10 still, and our last increase 11 and 12. All right, row 3, we're going to be doing a little bit different than usual, so I'm going to go nice and slow, and I'll also break it up along the cross of the top. Okay, so we're going to start with 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we are going to do 2 increases in this same stitch. So we're going to put 4 in this stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4 in the same stitch. Now we're going to do 2 single crochets across. 1, 2, and again we're going to do 2 increases in the same stitch, so 4 single crochets in that same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to do 4 single crochets to finish off the row. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it should look like this. So you've got 2 kind of almost square corners on each end. Row 4, kind of the same thing. We're going to start off with 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to do 1 increase in the next stitch. So that's 1 and 2 in the same stitch. And now we're going to do 3 single crochets in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, all in that same stitch. Now we're going to do 2 single crochets across. 1, 2. Now we're going to do 3 single crochets in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, all in the same stitch. Now we're going to do 1 increase in the next stitch. That's 1 and 2 in the same stitch. And then we should have 6 single crochets to finish off the row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now it's going to look a little bit like this. Row 5, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, whoops, 24. Row 6, 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 7, 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oops, I think I just got under one V there. So that's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 8, we are going to start off with 7 single crochets across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we're going to do 6 invisible decreases. And if you've never done invisible decreases before, what we're going to be doing is grabbing the front loops of the next 2 stitches. So we're going to come up through the middle of that V of the next 2 stitches. So front loop, grab your yarn, go through the first 2 front loops on your hook. Then you're going to grab your yarn again and go through the last 2 loops on your hook. So that's 1. Invisible decrease, front loop, grab your yarn, go through the first 2 front loops, grab your yarn again and go through the last 2 loops on your hook. So that's 2. Invisible decrease, that's 3. Invisible decrease, that's 4. Invisible decrease, that's 5. Invisible decrease, that's 6. And then we should have 5 single crochets to finish off the row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Row 9, we are going to be doing 4 single crochets to start. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're going to do 6 invisible decreases. So remember the front loops of the next 2 stitches. 1 invisible decrease, that's 2. Invisible decrease, that's 3 almost. There we go. Invisible decrease, that's 4. Invisible decrease. So I'm not great at these either. That's why I only do them where I need to. That's 5. Invisible decrease, that's 6. And then we should have 2 stitches left to finish off the row. 1, 2. So our little foot should look like this. All right, now rows 10 to 17 are just going to be 12 single crochets all the way around, and I'm going to do those consecutively. So that's 8 rows of 12. 8 times 12 is 96. So I'm going to do 96 single crochets, and I'm just going to flip my marker every time I hit a set of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then I flip my marker but keep on counting. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, whoops, 70, 71, 72, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. Okay, now we can take our stitch marker out and we're going to stuff our leg now, so you can get your stuffing out and ready. Okay, so grab yourself a nice handful of stuffing and we're just going to take bits and pieces at a time. First thing we want to do is find the front of our foot, so that will be where we did all the increases on each side. So that's going to be the two fronts, and then this is going to be the back. So what you want to do is take a little bit of your stuffing and we're going to push it up over to one side of the foot in the top corner. And then we're going to take another little piece and we're going to put it over in the other corner. And I'm using the palm of my hand to keep my foot nice and flat if I can. Just kind of double check that you're in the right spot. So right here and here. And also make sure you're not opening up your stitches. Like, see, I'm starting to open that. You don't want any more stuffing in there if you're at that point. And then now we're going to put stuffing in the back of the foot and we're just going to kind of push it down and then forward if we need to. So down. I don't really need to go forward too much on mine. Put a little bit more in, just so it's kind of on the firmer side, so it holds its shape. And then start going up the leg. I'm just going to squish mine down a bit, just shape it a bit. And then you're going to stuff the leg till you get to about the second row on top. So you have about one or two rows left there, and that'll just give us enough space to kind of close it. So it kind of closes in a triangular shape. So when he's sitting, his little belly doesn't make him flop backwards. And then we're going to put our hook back in. And just like we did the wing, we're going to do 5 single crochets across. So starting in that next stitch. And then on the back side in the last stitch. And 5 single crochets. 1, which you're going through both sides. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll tie that off. And again, leave a little bit of a tail. I don't do much with the ends of the legs, but we are going to flip them to the inside and tie them just so they're secure on the inside. So if you have just finished your first leg, I again will be putting a screenshot over in the next frame with a timestamp, so you can go back and do your second leg. And then if you've finished your second leg, just keep on watching and we'll move on to the next part. All right, now we are going to start at the top of the head. And again, you can make your loop or magic ring any way you prefer, as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. I'll be making my knot with the loop on the end. I insert my hook, grab my yarn, pull up, chain 1. Remember, that does not count as a stitch. That just attaches our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, going over top of the tail, 6 single crochets into the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then pull that tail to close that hole if you need to. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, we're going to do 6 increases, so that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 12. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, increase 11 and 12. Row 3, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. 1, increase, 2 and 3, and repeat that around. 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, and our last increase, 17 and 18. Row 4, we're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, increase, 3 and 4, and repeat that around. 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and our last increase, 23 and 24. Row 5, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, increase, 4 and 5, and repeat that around. 6, 7, 8, increase, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, increase, 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, and our last increase, 29 and 30. Row 6, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, and repeat that around. 7, 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, increase, 17 and 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, increase, 23 and 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, increase, 29 and 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and our last increase, 35 and 36. Row 7, we are going to do 5 single crochets, 1 increase. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 42. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, increase, 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, increase, 13 and 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, increase, 20 and 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, increase, 27 and 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, increase, 34 and 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, increase, 41 and 42. Row 8, we are going to do 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 9, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 10, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 11, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 12, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 13, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 14, 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 15, we are going to do 5 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, decrease for 6, and repeat that around. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and a decrease for 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and a decrease for 36. Row 16, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, decrease for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, decrease for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, decrease for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, decrease for 30. Row 17, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, 3, decrease for 4, 5, 6, 7, decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, decrease for 24. Row 18, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. Whoop, 1, 2, decrease for 3, 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, 8, decrease for 9, 10, 11, decrease for 12, 13, 14, decrease for 15, 16, whoops, 17, and our last decrease for 18. All right, looks like I need to change camera angles because I cannot keep this in the right position. So we'll be doing the arm row next, so get those ready, and then we will, I will meet you right back. All right, grab your wings, so we have those ready. And for row 19, we are going to start with 3 single crochets across. So 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to grab one of our wings, and remember this is the back where our stitch marker is. We want to have the string facing the front. And we're going to do 4 single crochets through the wing and through the head. So into the first stitch of the wing and the next stitch in the head. That's 1, through the wing, through the next stitch of the head. That's 2, through the wing, through the next stitch of the head. That's 3, through the wing, through the next stitch of the head. That's 4. And now we are going to do 4 single crochets across. Make sure you're going in the next stitch, because it's really easy to go in the same stitch you were just in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now grab your other wing, and again remember you want the strings facing the front. This is the back on this side. And 4 single crochets through the wing and through the next stitch of the head. So 1, through the wing, through the next stitch of the head. That's 2, through the wing, through the next stitch of the head. That's 3, through the wing, and through the next stitch of the head. That's 4, and then we should have 3 single crochets left to finish off the row. 1, 2, 3. Row 20, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. So 1, 2, increase, 3, and 4. And repeat that around. 5, 6, increase, 7, and 8. And remember, as you're going around, you want these strings on the outside, so don't accidentally get them on the inside when you're crocheting right here. So repeat again, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and our last increase, 23 and 24. Row 21, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 22, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, increase, 4 and 5. And repeat that again. 6, 7, 8, increase, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, increase, 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, and our last increase, 29 and 30. Row 23, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, increase, 17 and 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, increase, 23 and 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, increase, 29 and 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and our last increase, 35 and 36. Row 24, 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 25, 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 26, 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 27, 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 28, 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oh my goodness, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 29, 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. All right, let's take our hook out for a minute. And then we're going to put our eyes in now that we have a little bit of our body made so that we can kind of see where they're going to go. You're going to fold your guy flat using your arms to kind of center the head and get him nice and flat. All right, get your eyes ready. And I always use a pin to kind of mark where I want mine to go. So we're going to begin by finding our starting loop. So that'll be row 1. And we're going to count down between rows 9 and 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So right here between rows 9 and 10. Now that's just marking the row. And then once we have our row figured out, oh, I'm way off on that one. We want to find somewhere about the center. So I like to just kind of come over on the bottom to my center between my wings. And then I'm going to come up to where the top of my head is. And I'm just going to kind of come straight down. And it looks like I might be okay here. And I'm putting my pin in a stitch between 2 holes. And it might not look centered to you because of the angle I'm at, but I'm pretty sure for me, yeah, that's pretty centered there. So once you have your stitch figured out and where your center is, we're going to go over 4 holes on each side. So there's my stitch where my pin is. So I've got 1 hole here on this side. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and in that 4th hole. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Oops. So the hole right beside my pin, 1, 2, 3, 4, and in that 4th hole. And then again, just have a look to make sure that they feel centered to you. My eyes aren't going in my holes very good. There we go. I don't want them to fall out. Yeah, to me that looks pretty good. So then what you're going to do is we're going to get our backs on, and you're going to put your, I need to turn mine upside down here. I'm going to put my thumb on the eye. A lot of people question why I wait so long to put my eyes in. It's just how I do it. When I make my pattern, I actually don't even add my eyes till sometimes I'm on the last couple rows and he's fully stuffed, so I know where they go. But to make it easier, you're going to put your thumb on your eye, and then you're going to push that up through the neck, and then you have a nice clear view of your post. Put your back on and then just click that closed. Try and get all 3 if you can. Then you're going to do the same thing with the other eye. Thumb on the eye. Push it up, out through the neck. It gives you a nice view of that post again. Put the back on. Click her in. Always need 2 hands for that. All right, there we go. We've got our eyes on. Now let's get our hook back in. Hello, I'm just popping in right now because I did not stuff my chick until I had the legs attached. So if you need to add your stuffing before we get that far, you're going to want to start stuffing as you go now. All right, so for row 30, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease, for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a decrease for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and a decrease for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and a decrease for 30. Row 31, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4. Whoops. 5, 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, and a decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24. All right, now we're going to add the legs on the next row. So let's grab those and get those ready. Okay, so for row 32, we are going to start off with 8 single crochets. And if you are left-handed, remember you may be doing this row backwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that should get you right in the middle of your wings, because we're going to have 12 single crochets offset in the back and 12 single crochets in the front for the leg. Okay, so grab one of your legs, and you want to make sure you have the front, so where the toes are, facing the body. And we're going to do 5 single crochets through the leg and through the body. So just like we did the arms. 1 through the leg, through the next stitch of the body. That's 2 through the leg, through the next stitch of the body. That's 3 through the leg, through the next stitch of the body. That's 4 through the leg and through the next stitch of the body. That's 5. And then this time we are going to flip the leg strings to the inside so we can tie them later. And now we're going to do 2 single crochets across. Make sure you're going in the next stitch because it's very easy to go in the same stitch. 1, 2, And now you're going to grab your other leg. Again, make sure the toes are facing the body. And we're going to do 5 single crochets through the leg and the body. So through the leg, through the next stitch of the body, that's 1. Through the leg, through the next stitch of the body, that's 2. Through the leg, through the next stitch of the body, that's 3. Through the leg, through the next stitch of the body, that's 4. Through the leg, through the next stitch of the body, that's 5. And again, put that string on the inside. All right, so 4 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we might as well tie those legs right now as well. So we're just going to tie them nice and loose against the outside of the body. We don't want to pull them tight because our legs will end up like this. So 2 or 3 times and slowly tighten as you go. I think that's good. And then I'm going to cut the ends so they're not in my way. Alright, I just realized I didn't have you guys stuff the head when we put the eyes in, but I'm going to put a little tiny note there so that if you need to stuff before this point, you can. It is a little easier because you don't have a million strings everywhere, but this is how I'm actually used to stuffing mine, so that I know what it's going to look like once I get everything on. So you're just going to stuff up into the head, and you want the head to be quite firm. So if you did catch my little note to start stuffing ahead of time, and yours isn't as firm as I'm having it right now, add a little bit more. And once you, try and keep it kind of in a round shape. Just kind of feel around as you go for holds. And I usually, I'm doing bad on this one. Usually I hold the neck. And then that helps not stretch those stitches around the neck. So, pretty close. I need a little bit more. See how it's squishier here than over here? So I'm just going to keep adding a little bit where there's a hole or looseness. All right, that should be lots, and mine's quite lopsided, so I just got to move my stuffing around a bit and shape the head. You want it to be on the rounder side without stretching your neck. So if you have a look inside, I've just got my stuffing coming right to my neck, and then when I stuff the body, I'm not going to be putting any in the neck. I'm just going to be stuffing up against the body. So I'm just going to put it in nice and loose like this. So you'll want to have a bit of your body stuffed right now. If you're happy with how it is, we'll continue on to the next row. All right. And we only have about 3 rows left. So remember, if you need to stuff more before you get down to your last row, stop and do that as you go. All right, so for row 33, we're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that around for a total of 18. So 1, 2, and a decrease. I'm already catching my stuffing. For 3. 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, and a decrease for 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18. Row 34, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 12. So 1 and a decrease for 2, 3, and right there I keep catching my stuffing, and a decrease for 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, and a decrease for 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. Now I'm going to add the rest of my stuffing now. We've just got 1 row left, and I'm kind of making sure that when I'm stuffing, I want to have the bottom flat. So I kind of push it out back to the butt a bit. And I dig my fingers down in there to make a hole so that I can get a little bit more in without stretching all my stitches. That should be lots. Oh yeah, look at his little tum-tum. Okay, make his body kind of round. That's definitely enough. And then we'll close him up. Get my mess fixed here. And then for row 35, we're just going to do 6 decreases. So 1. Of course, it's going to squeak. 2. 3 decreases. 4 decreases. 5 decreases. And 6 decreases. And then you are just going to slip stitch into the next stitch and tie that off. Leave yourself a little bit of a tail so we can close that up. I'm going to take my stitch marker out because I don't need that anymore. Grab my darning needle. And then we are just going to weave in and out of this top loop all the way around of our last row. And if you are using the plush yarn, try doing 3 stitches and pulling, and then doing the other 2 or 3 stitches and pulling, and that might help if you have trouble with it breaking when you get to this part. Then I'm just going to go in the next stitch and tie myself a little knot to secure that. And then I'm going to put it up through the center and out the back somewhere. And I like to give it a good little tug, and that kind of will hide that knot if you can see it. It can pull it up and through the stitches, and it also will help flatten out the bottom. All right, let's also do these little wing strings. And save your little scraps as you're going, because when we cut this off, it makes for a really good matching color to go between the eyes later on. So I'm just threading one of my wing tails. Doesn't matter which one, because we're going to do them exactly the same. And you're going to come down in this hole right where your knot is, and your last stitch when you attach the wing. And you're going to come out the back in the center of the neck somewhere. Keep track of what string belongs to which wing, and then we're going to do the other one. So same thing, right where the knot is, and your last stitch that you use to attach the arm, and you're going to come out the exact same stitch as your other string now. Again, keep track of which string goes to which arm. And now we're going to tie that one time. So just like that, wrap it around the neck, turn your guy around, and now we're going to pull these strings and we're going to bring those knots in and the wings forward a bit. Mine seems a little crooked here, but there we go. Wrong one. Oh, that's why. Pulling one and not the other. All right, so once you have them where you think you want them, then you're just going to tie that a couple of times to secure it. And then we'll just rethread those ends back on and hide them on the inside. So right back down that same hole and then out. Whoop. I got that weird stuffing again, and my needle just does not want to go through it. So then we'll cut those ends. Kind of shape your guy if he's a little off from all that twisting around. All right, now we're going to do the beak, and again, you can start any way you prefer as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. I'll be doing the knot with the loop on the end like I was going to be making a chain. Insert my hook, grab my yarn and pull up, and then chain 1. And remember, that does not count as a stitch, that just attaches our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, going over top of the tail, we're going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then pull that tail to close that hole if you need to. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 9. So 1 single crochet, make sure you're going in the right stitches, 1 increase for 2 and 3, single crochet for 4, increase for 5 and 6, single crochet for 7, and an increase for 8 and 9. And again, remember, you want that point curling up, coming towards you. Otherwise, you're going to be making it inside out. Row 3, we're just going to do 9 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch, tie that off, leave yourself enough of a tail to sew that on. What I like to do is make sure when my yarn's doubled, it'll go around twice, and then maybe leave a little bit extra at the end. All right, let's sew this beak on now, and I always like to pin mine on first, so grab your pins and a tiny bit of stuffing. Just going to put a little bit in just to kind of hold its shape. So just pack it in there nice and flat with your stitches. And we're going to place it just under the next row after where we put our eyes. So we put our eyes in this row right here. We're going to put it 1 row below, and if you use the same eyes as me, it'll be like where the bottom of your eyes are touching. So just like this, just touching the top of that row. And I like to make sure that my starting point where my yarn is at the very bottom. So if we do make a mess tying, we can kind of hide it. So let's just pin one up here on the top. And then I'm going to pin one at the bottom, and I'm just holding it in place with my thumb right now so it doesn't move. Make sure it's even on both sides, so I have about 1 stitch in between on both sides. Then I'm just going to go on the side and put a pin there. Go on the other side and put a pin there. Just keep checking that it's centered, and I just might put one more pin down here. I'm making mine round, but you could do it flat this way or kind of flat this way if you want it. And let's thread our yarn on our needle. And we're going to start by going down kind of underneath of our beak. So I'm just going to move that out of the way. So I'm just going to come down underneath right where my knot is and through the head, 1 stitch on the head. I want to try and pull that knot down inside if I can. And then I'm going to come up in the next stitch. Try and make sure you're going through both of the parts of the V on the stitch, but not catching any stuffing. And if you find your nose is moving, I maybe could have put more pins in. I'm just going to put a pin right in the center. And that will help. I usually use my thumb, but that will help. Then we're going to go down in that next stitch. And then I'm going to go around a piece of the head. Make sure you're underneath your beak and you won't see your stitches. Come up the next stitch. And we're just going to do that all the way around. And every once in a while, just double check that you are keeping it centered and it's not moving. The more pins you put in, the less it will move. So I just went down and round and catched a piece of the head, and now I'm coming back up. Always checking that it's not moving, especially when you have like a little piece like this. It's really easy for it to move around. Back up the next stitch. Usually while I do this, I tell you a little bit about if you want to share anything with me. We're almost at the end here, but quickly, I do have a Facebook craft page, and if you ever want to share something you've made with me, there is a link down in the description. You can always ask to. I usually see all my comments on here. It's one of the very first links as soon as you hit more and more underneath the video. And then we're just getting to where we started here. So I'm going to come back down and around. So this is actually my starting knot right there. So I'm going to come around past it. Come up. I'm just going to try and bring this part of the nose over a bit just to kind of fix that gap there. So I'm not going in the head this time. I'm going back in a stitch and around. Just because sometimes when you go on the round, your rows don't end up even on the last row. And then see, there's not really a gap there anymore. And then I'm just going to find my stitch. Just a sec, I'll find it and then I'll show you a little better closer. Alright, so now to tie off, I'm finding one of my stitches that I sewed. I'm not actually catching a piece of the nose or a piece of the head. And that's where I'm going to tie my knot. So Sorry, my hands are in the way a tiny little bit here. So tie your knot and then try and tie it down under the nose and out the back somewhere. I'm going to get rid of that pin, it's in my way. Give it a good pull. Don't worry if you're smushing your nose or your head, you can fix it in a second. And if you can see your piece, just give it a little swipe and that'll get it out of the way. So see how, or you can't really tell maybe. In the video it looks good, but, or the camera, but for me it's quite misshapen. Okay, so there we go. We got our little nose on. All right, now we're gonna shape the eyes a little bit to bring them in. And this is where those little scrap pieces that you cut off are gonna come in handy. Now all you're gonna do is come down in the center in that same row that you attached your eye posts. If you didn't put safety eyes in, you do the same thing that I'm going to show you. You just won't go around the eyes. So I'm going to come up right in front of the eye. So if you're using safety eyes, you can go around the eye. And if you sewed your own eyes or made your own eyes, you're just going to go in this stitch instead of around the post. So we're just going to go one row down into this hole. And we're going to come over to the other side and go in that same matching hole. So we're just on the bottom inside of the eye. And again, I'll be going around the post, but you can just go up into this stitch if you want to. So around the post. And now we're going to match our first stitch that we made on this side to the inside. And then just come up where we started. So you're basically going around both eyes, but you're not going to see your stitching the way we did that. And we're going to tie that. And we're going to kind of bring them together and down at the same time. And then tie them a little tighter. Just be careful not to get them too close, because depending on where you put the white embroidery, if you're going to do that, they will look cross-eyed if you go just on the sides. If you go on the bottom or the top, it won't make a big difference. So now we're just going to thread those ends back in and put them out the back. Oh, yeah, curse of this weird stuffing. It's really nice as far as how it feels, but it just compacts really good. Okay, I might fast forward this part. There we go. Come on. Give it a good pull. Cut the ends. And then you may have to readjust your face here a little bit. And if you ended up with a hole here, just kind of squish your stitches back in place. Do be careful though if you're using a plastic hook, because I have broken one doing it this way. Alright, and now if you want to put the little eye embellishments on, we'll grab a chunk of white. I'm going to use my metal one this time because you do have to give it a good bend going from post to post. So now I'm going to be starting on the outsides of the eyes. I'm going to go just inside. If you have a hole right by your eye, you can just kind of catch a bit of that stitch, and then it won't slide under the eye. So I'm just going to do that on both sides. Just grab a bit of that stitch if I can. I don't know. It's not quite the same here. Alright, I think I got it. And then now you can choose. You can either go up over your eye or you can come down and under. And I'm going to go under. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come down just kind of in the middle of the bottom of the eye, or maybe I'll go here. Yeah. So just on the inside of the eye. So I'm kind of where we just put our other string, and we're going to come out the center somewhere. Pull this gently because you don't want it to go under your eye. Could have left a little more on the other side, so let's just do that. And now you're going to thread on your other one. So same thing, I went in on this side, so I want to go in on this side here. And I pulled that stitch a little bit, so I'm going in a stitch, just so it doesn't slide under. Then come back out where your other piece is. Again, don't pull this too hard because you don't want to make it go under your eye. And then now, if you're happy with how they look, you're just going to tie them nice and gently. Tighten as you go so they're secure, but you're not pulling the white part where the eye is. And then we'll re-thread those on. Don't worry if it's not quite looking like mine yet. I always find that it's not till you put, like almost put the last piece on that it kind of starts looking like you're hoping it will. Okay, so I should have just pulled that gently, but just kind of pull it till the knot's out. Where is my, oh, I see. So usually I depend on putting ears and stuff on now to kind of cuten it up. So all we have left is the eyebrows. So I did pull that a little bit. Okay, let's cut that. And if you have a piece left over, just swoop it with your hook. Alright, and now if you want to do some little eyebrows, all I'm going to do, on the one I have here is just straight thread that and then this one, I'm going to separate my thread so that I can have thinner little eyebrows. So you're just going to separate one of the 4 strands. So sorry, you can't really see. And then, so that I have this one thin strand. Now, if you have embroidery thread, it will work a lot better. So we're going to thread that on. And now I'm just going to go up 2 rows, kind of even with the edge of my eyes. So let's just see what it looks like there. Yeah, right there is good. And I'm going to leave lots on both sides. I'm going to do it just like we did this, one side and then the other side. So just kind of decide where you want to put your eyebrows. I put my other one here, but I'm almost wondering if I should put it down 2 rows. So I'm just going over one hole from the edge of my eye, and I'm going to come up. Make sure when you're using dark yarn on light or light on dark that you go down around and scoop a bit of that stuffing, because you don't want to see the line of it right here. Alright, so that side's good. And now we're going to do the other side. Whoop. And now we have to match on the other side. So the other one, I had a hole, and then I skipped over to the next hole. So let's just see how it looks first before we commit. Yep, that's, whoops, That's where we want it. Sometimes our stitches are a little lopsided, so you just want to check. Make sure, and I'm coming up in that same hole that my other one came out of. I think I might have to go back and put thinner eyebrows on my other one, but let's see. And we're just going to lightly tie that. Rethread those ends back on. Go in that same hole and then just come out the back somewhere. And I'm just going to watch mine so I can pull it gently so that I don't mess up my eyebrows. Fix those stitches a bit. And then give this a nice loose cut. And we'll sweep that out of the way. All right, we're going to do this little tuft of hair now. This one I think I did 3 or 4 pieces. This one I'm just going to do 2. So I'm just going to wrap it around my fingers. So that's 1 time, 2 times. I need to cut that so they're even. And this is just scraps again from the rest of the project that I cut. So I'm going to hold it up at the top now, and I'm going to cut this one. And there's my 2 little pieces. Then all you're going to do is come down in the very center first row, where you went in the round, come straight out, so I'm even between the eyebrows. I'm going to fold that yarn over in half on my hook, pull it through. Oh, I almost got one coming out here. And then I'm going to grab those, these threads in my finger with my hook, and then I'm going to pull them through the loop that I'd made. And then you just tighten those off. I like to pull mine to tighten them, just so you don't see as much of a lump there. And then you can leave them how they are. You can cut them even, shorter. So I'm just gonna cut them kind of even. So I'm just taking that one longer one off. Oh yeah, see, now he's starting to look cute. Now we'll just do our bows. So I've already got a blue one done, so I'm just gonna make I don't know, a pink one, I guess, for the other little one. All right, so for our bow, we're going to start by making a chain. But before we do, we want to leave a little bit of a tail. And we're going to fold it over, and we're going to make our knot with the loop on the end. So I'm going to bring it around my finger, bring that loop down, around and through, pinch the top of the loop, and then slide that knot up. So we just have a teeny little loop there on the end. Make sure you have the tail on the one side and your working yarn on the other. Then we're just going to insert our hook, and we're going to chain 31. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Now starting in the second chain from the hook, so this the one on your hook does not count. Here's your first chain, here's your second chain. We're going to do 31 half double crochets across our chain. So for a half double crochet, it's basically the same as a single crochet, only you're going to yarn over first. So yarn over into that second chain from the hook, grab your yarn and pull up, grab your yarn and go through the 3 loops on your hook. So one more time, nice and slow. That's 1, yarn over into the next stitch, grab your yarn and pull up, grab your yarn and go through all 3 loops on your hook. That's 2. Now I'm going to speed up, and as you're going, make sure that you're not twisting your chain. You want to always stay on the same side. So 3 half double crochets, 4 half double crochet, 5 half double crochet, and just continue on down. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. And then I'm just going to slip stitch, or sorry, I'm just going to tie that off. Leave yourself a bit of a tail so we can weave that in. Now, because this end is kind of rounded on the one end, I'm just going to tie these 2 together so I can bring them kind of in a round to match. So I want to flip it over to what I'm going to call the back side. And I'm just going to tie them together, trying to make sure that my knot is kind of on the back side. And then I'm going to give it one more tie. And let's thread those ends on. Whoop. Because it's just the bow, I'm not going to do a ton of weaving back and forth. You can if you want. I'm just going to go up one time, and we want to go about 1/4 of the way up so that when we tie our bow, you won't see where this came out. So I'm just going to come up. Oops, make sure I'm on the right side. Yeah, I think so. Other side kind of looks more even. I'm going to make this my back side, or my front side, sorry. So I'm going to come up this side. That's strange because usually I like this other side better in the back. All right, so I'm just coming about 1/4 of the way up, just so you won't see this end. I'm going to give it a good, nice pull. Don't worry if you're squishing it up, because we'll just slip that back down into shape afterwards. So it's going to look like this. We'll cut those ends. And then we're just going to cross it like this. So this is going to be the bottom of our bow, and then these will be the loops. We're going to take this back piece and we're just going to bring it up nice and tight. So it's going to look like this, and just kind of play with it a bit so it's even. What I kind of like to do is make sure I have the same amount here, from here to here and here to here. So see, those match up and those match up. Now just set that down gently for a second, because we're going to have to grab ourselves a piece of matching color, and I'm just going to grab a fair size for now, especially if you're going to tie the bow on around the one duck or one chicken's neck. You want to have a lot of extra. So I'm going to go just a little less than half, and I'm just going to pinch that and hold it there, and I'm going to wrap this other end around to make my center knot on my bow. You may have to pull the other string a little bit. So I don't know, about 4 or 5 times you're going to wrap that around. Just double check that they're even before you commit to tying it in the back. So see, this is a bit longer than this, so I am just going to pull this over a bit. Hopefully I didn't wrap it too tight. Let's see, I think that'll work. So when you're happy with the shape of your bow, you're just going to tie that nice and tight in the back. And there you have your little bow. Now for the boy, I am just going to tie my bow on. So I'm just going to go take my 2 ends that I had, and I'm just going to tie it around his neck and put it. You can either tie it in a knot here and then hide your ends inside. I'm just going to tie a little bow here so that if I want to remove it later, I can. And then I'll show you how I'm going to sew the one onto the girl's head. Sorry, bunny, we lost your carrot. Oh, and your egg. Oh, just everything's everywhere here. All right, so where's my needle at? Here it is. So I'm just going to put one end on. I actually haven't sewn this on yet as a practice, so let's see how this goes. Actually, you could cheat and tie that on there too. That's kind of cute. Actually, maybe I should do that. Yeah, that is what I'm going to do. No, because then it won't stay. Okay. You could do that, and you could sew the ends in so it stayed, but let's sew it on. And I'm going to put mine on the side. You put yours wherever you think you want it. And all I'm going to do is go around a stitch, come up, catch the bow in a couple of places. So I'm just going to catch a stitch on one side and a stitch on the other side. Then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to tie it to this other end. So down. I'm going to better come out the same spot. I don't know, can you see that? I don't know why sometimes my lights shine really good in the camera and then other times they don't. Like, I can see this super bright when I look at it, but when I look at it through the camera, I can hardly, look so dark. And then I'm just going to tie the two ends. And then hide them down inside. Give it a good pull. Cut that end off. Oh, I really need to get new scissors. I've been bad and been letting them go other places. Like I never let my sewing scissors cut anything but fabric, but for some reason I kind of, all the rules have gone out the door with my yarn ones. Oh, and just one thing before I go, if you find your arms aren't looking like mine, I've kind of done something a little different with them. So instead of leaving them flat like this, I'm folding them in half. So see, they look like this. And then I'm just kind of twisting the ends up and out. So they kind of look like little hands maybe. Okay, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and click that bell. Not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified every time I load a new video, as well as any likes, shares, and comments are always appreciated. I'd also like to give a big thank you to all of you that have been so kind to have hit the thanks button and sent me such generous donations. You will now be listed at the end of all my next videos as my super thanks friends. And as always, take care, be safe, and happy crocheting.